I'm Fraser Simons. I'm going to be reviewing Paul Gallico's The Man Who Was Magic. There's the dust jacket, same on both sides. So this is a book that is published in '68. It's hard to get, it's out of print. I had to go to the library and wait quite a substantial amount of time to get it, but I finally did because so many people were recommending it to me. I think this is a good stepping stone for people who are very into like folkloric parable type stories in the fantasy genre. It seems like it's something of like a dark horse. It's even still pretty well reviewed in Goodreads. And so I'm here to set your expectations. I wish somebody had set my expectations accordingly for this book as well, because it's quite strange, and that's probably because it was published in 1968. The tone of it vacillates between extremely dark and light and whimsical. I sort of like expected it to be a middle grade book, but I think it's more accurately something between young adult and middle grade, or something that a parent would narrate to a child together. It has this sort of like Shrek quality, you could say, where adults will take away certain things from the story that will go completely over a child's head, and even some of the vernacular in it is far too complex for middle grade. Yet the sentence structure and paragraph structure suggests that it is more for children, actually. So it is a little bit of a weird book, I think. It's a story about Adam, a ginger who has a talking dog named Mopsy, who only Adam can understand for the most part. He goes to a town of magicians to participate in a competition and meets a girl named Jane, who is a stagehand. It turns out that Adam needs a stagehand, and only women can be stagehands. Jane has got a reputation for being a bad stagehand, but it is later revealed, of course, that the magicians that she was a stagehand for were just sort of jerks and kind of put her off, and she is actually quite competent. Like I was saying before, this is a parable tale. You're meant to take away a bunch of different things. It's got strong themes that run throughout it. It's primarily, I would say, about othering people. It's about misogyny, especially with Jane's storyline. It's about finding magic in all of the things around you. There's beauty everywhere, essentially. So in that way, it's very middle grade, yet when you get on with it, it is quite YA in the execution of the themes. The ending especially is quite dark. I think it would be intense for a child. There is threats of lynching. It was written in 1968, yet and its intention is to deal with themes of misogyny and othering and ignorance and prejudice, the worst in humanity, essentially. And yet, because it was published in 1968, its antiquity shows. There's casual misogyny and casual racism in this that will make people uncomfortable or be outright offensive in some places. Although that is not the author's intent, every modern reader will be able to spot these things, I think. There's talk of lynching people, there's talk of people from the Orient, there's gypsies that are telling people to beware of dark-skinned people. There's just a bunch of stuff that will definitely put you off, and it definitely made my enjoyment of it much more difficult. It still came away with 3 stars from me simply because of the intention and the execution of its themes, but I think for a lot of people, they're looking through this as a lens of rose-colored glasses. Maybe their parents did read this to them as kids. Maybe they discovered it as young adults and really liked the tone that it struck, going from light and whimsical, especially dialogue. It goes from light upper crust British children, think Narnia, lots of exclamations, lots of etiquette being thrown into the way that people speak to each other, which further strikes a tone when the same people switch into othering Adam when they discover that he is magical and not like them. I can't really recommend the book because it has casual misogyny and racism, even as it's trying to address those same themes. It falls short of its goal. You can't really execute fully the themes of othering and prejudice and ignorance, as I was saying, while including those same elements in the text. It's still a fairly well-written book. It's still unique in the way that it executes its themes at the end. It is, I think, antiquated and not in publication still for a reason. I'm not saying that you have to be a bad person to like this book. And to give you an idea of what this book is kind of like, I'll read the first line here from the chapter, The Coming of the Stranger. The stranger, dusty and travel-stained, accompanied by the small mop of a dog at his heels, emerged from the cool darkness of the woods where they had spent the night and paused for a moment in wonder at the first sight of their goal, Magea, the magical city. My name's Fraser Simons. You can find me everywhere at Fraser Simons. I'll leave some links down below. If you look at my Goodreads and there's books on there that you see that you'd like a video about, let me know and I'll see if I can get to it. This is my first foray into BookTube, my first review. You can probably tell. I'm Fraser Simons. I'm a tabletop role-play game designer. I'm a self-published author for the most part. And I will be trying to get more into BookTube and hopefully connect with more like-minded people about books. I live in a town of 14,000 people in rural Alberta, Canada, so as you can imagine, I haven't many people to talk to. Thanks for watching, and hopefully I'll see you next time.